Ever feel like you're just a hot mess as an entrepreneur or a coach? Well, if you do, you're not alone. Katie, Jolly, and I get real this week as we talk about our struggles and what we're doing to step beyond those moments where we feel burnt out or we doubt what we're doing or we feel like we just want to quit. It's all normal, but you need people in your court to help you step forward. So listen in, grab your headphones and maybe a cup of coffee, and we'll talk about what we're doing to step beyond feeling like a hot mess. All right, let's go. Welcome to Step Forward with Terri Mullen. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been following along for a while, welcome back, and thank you so much for being here. I'm a mom to 4 adults, a wife of 34 years, a midlife entrepreneur, and your confidence coach who transformed my own doubt into confidence to speak, write my book, start a podcast, and launch my own business. Now I empower other amazing women just like you to do the same. So lean in and learn how to crush that fear, amplify your voice, and build confidence to create your own impact and income. I'm here to encourage you and empower you every step of the way. Let's step forward. Well, hello, Katie Jolly.
Hello, Terri Mullen.
Happy Friday. Here's another fabulous Friday between the two of us. I just love the magic that happens here between us. It's just so good. And thank you again for being here. Let's just dive into this. How was your week?
It was a hard mess, Terri.
Hot mess. I know, just for all the listeners, it's so funny. Katie and I always talk before, like, what are we going to talk about this week? And it always just kind of happens extemporaneously. Things just happen, but we always like to have a topic. And so she texts me and says, how about hot mess? I'm like, oh, I am so into that. Yes, it's been a hot mess.
Yeah. How's your week been, Terri?
Same, hot mess.
Hot mess.
Hot mess. Yep. It's been a week in so many different ways, just personally and just always all of these funky, weird things that have gone goofy and hard. And I always know in those moments that stuff's happening, like on an energetic and spiritual level, right? When we enter into those things where it's off or it's hard, my electronics go funky, my podcast won't upload, all those things. Like I'm always like, okay, there's something going on. So there's always good on the other side of it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you and I both, we've talked about what kind of week it's been. Last week, we talked a lot about social media, just the role that it plays, both the positive and negatives. It seems to be kind of a theme. I had shared that I signed up for Brenda Burchard's coaching class, which has been amazing. So for anyone out there, I'm doing a huge plug for it because I love him. I think he's kind of the golden standard for all of us that are coaches. He coaches the leading gurus, but he's the coach of the coaches. And he's just such a solid, grounded person and who has made this a business and not a marketing mess. And
Amen.
So it's kind of brought me back to where I was before some other programs that I entered into. And I'm grateful for that. So that's what I'm kind of doing this week. I'm really diving into that, kind of getting rid of things that don't fill my soul, don't fill my spirit, don't take me where I'm headed on my journey, and for my business and personally to help others. So that's where I am on a positive note with that. So how about you?
Yeah, on a positive note, I've been doing the same thing. And I think it's been so important to just make space. And I always come back to the analogy of pruning the roses. You know, we literally have to prune the dead heads in order for the flowers to grow again. And yet we just hold on to the dead heads. You know, we hold on to those things, those people, those habits, and we don't create space for what really fills our cup.
How do you do this? Like every time, like there's just such magic in you where you can take a metaphor or an analogy and just drop it in. I'm like, oh yeah. Like I've been going through my pruning all week, like snip, snip, snip. Got to get rid of that. Got to get rid of that. Oh yeah, that's not working. And celebrate it, right? So that new blooms can happen. But we hold on. It's so true. That's powerful.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I was reading a thing about the brain. So we actually go through like neural pruning. Like that happens in the brain. The brain kind of prunes parts or neurons that aren't actually used. You know, so that's why if we're in a negative mindset, we're growing those roses. So we
Ah.
actually, wherever our habits are, wherever our repetitive thoughts are, we're growing those roses,
Mm.
whether we like the smell of them or not. So we have to go through, we probably have to go through the hot mess
Yeah.
to go prune, you know?
Ah. I'm thinking about the thorns. Like, okay, what part of that? Like, we've got to experience some of those thorns in order to feel that, feel the pain a bit,
Mm.
and then trim back and wait for the bloom.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I
Oh,
love that. Ah.
so good. That's so good. Yeah, we've both been a hot mess this week, and in a good way, I think, because it's brought us both to a place where we're able to cut out of our life what's not working and
Mm,
simplify, bring it back to keeping it simple. Who are we serving? How can we best run our business, right?
mm,
So that we can not only grow in our own life, but also help our clients grow. And what's just the fluff on the outside? What's just the busy work? You know,
mm,
I always tell the story of my son when he was in high school, and he said to me, Mom, why do I have to color this map? He was like in 10th grade. He's like, this is so ridiculous. This is such a waste of my time. And he said, this is just busy work. And it makes me think about that. Like when we have to do, I mean, there's a creative side that's probably really good. But when we think about the things that we do that are just busy work that really don't have any
mm.
purpose, that just suck our time, like what's the point, right?
Mm. And I think
What's,
that's part of that external influence as well, whether it's social media or whether it's other people's opinion or whether it may be a course that we're doing. If we're in a place where we're consistently just doing what other people tell us to do without taking time to step back and think, okay, well, what do I want to do?
yeah.
What do I want to learn? What's important to me? We're going to stay stuck in that rat wheel because we're not actually creating the space. We're not pruning the roses for what's important for us. So it does
Mm,
become busy work, and we can get really lost in this, use the word algorithm. We get lost in this algorithm thinking it's going to make us happy. And quite often it doesn't because
mm,
we're not stepping back and taking a breath to go, okay, well, what do I actually really want? What do I need? What is the important work and not the busy work?
yeah. That is so good. And as you're talking, I'm thinking we're just feeding the beast because for me, the algorithm is the beast. Like we're
Yeah.
constantly feeding it, we're constantly chasing after it. It's constantly changing, like the rabbit's tail. We never catch it. It's just
Mm,
constantly feeding it. But is it really benefiting us and feeding our human soul or the
mm,
people that we're really trying to help and reach? I
Because
think
I met
that's
with a client yesterday, a new client. He's just a young adult with some mental health issues.
uh-huh.
And he said, oh, I just need to get my fitness right so that I can get back and I can start earning some real money because in 6 years I can earn 500,000, right? In this career that he's wanting to go into. And I said to him, oh, that's really cool. But his mental health is fairly unstable at the moment. There's a lot going on.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I have worked with multi-millionaires who they've got everything. Externally, they've got everything. But internally, I said, one guy that I work with, his three consecutive wives left him. His
Oh, wow.
children don't speak to him. His health was terrible. And I said, maybe just get some clarity on what's really, really important to you right now,
Yeah.
because we can have these amazing ambitious goals, but we actually need to be stable within ourselves and work out what's important,
Yeah. For sure.
what's important right now.
Right.
Otherwise,
It's
it is a continual hot mess.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't it interesting too, as you're talking with this young man, thinking, his focus is so on making the 500,000, and I don't know whether he's doing that through all social media or whatever, but interesting, just what's driving a lot of young kids today too is that
Mm.
because of social media, the influence, the social
Mm.
influencers, to make it seem so easy, which we now know, being on social media,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Hello.
Yeah, right. As we talked about last week, it all kind of Hollywoodizes everything
Mm.
and makes it look so easy. And it's not. It's delusional, And then you end
Mm.
up with mental health issues, brain health issues,
Yeah, because
like,
they're looking, I think even looking at what my children are watching on YouTube, they're watching mainly American, even though we're in New Zealand, it's an American influence of these kids that are doing challenges where they're going to stores and they're buying a whole lot of Orbeez or toys and it's not reality.
yeah,
It's not reality. So you get to this point psychologically where you go, okay, either I want that or I don't have that, I'm not that, I don't look like that. And then it eats into your self-esteem.
100%, 100%. Wow. And and so here's the work, like, and this is where you really come in too, with all the brain health work that you've done, is bringing people back to like a normalization in a way. I don't really know what the word is. Maybe you have a better word for it. But because of all these distractions, because of all these external influences, I mean, people have really you touch with reality, you
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah.
Just like what you're talking about. And just like with your children, the things that they're watching, lost touch with how hard it is to achieve
Mm,
certain things, to do the hard work, because you're watching it on social media and TV and, I mean, particularly social media, and make it look so easy. It's
mm, mm,
not
mm.
easy.
And I think that's in every aspect of well-being,
Mm.
and that was but last week, as you know, Terry, I came off social media,
Woohoo.
had a I had a complete meltdown and I was sobbing with my husband. I said, I don't know what I'm doing with my business. I don't know. And for any coaches listening out there, no, I don't need help. So please don't DM me.
Yeah.
Um, and we sat down and we kind of talked through it. And I said, I looked at my roses and
Mm.
what was really important to me and my family, my connection with God, my friends who I haven't seen, physically. I haven't really seen my friends for 6 months. I've been so busy with my business,
Yep.
and my clients and my Dr. Amen work.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, what's really important to me? And then I realized that, as I said in one of our other podcasts that we did, I was giving away the best time of my day to social media.
Yeah.
I was answering comments, every single comment on my feed. People were DMing me who weren't clients, and I was helping them. All of my energy was going out and not actually to what was important. It was busy work,
Right.
right? And I
Right.
think it's not necessarily hitting the bottom, but I think we need the hot mess to turn around and go, okay, well, what's actually important?
Right. Right. And I've done this too, where you're not filling your own cup, right? And because you're
Yeah.
so great at what you do, just like you dropped in right away with an amazing metaphor and an analogy, and people cling onto that. You're amazing as a coach and helping people, but because of that, people were just sucking a lot of energy out of you. Um,
Mm. But I think what
does that make
I've
sense?
realized over time, yeah, it does. What I've realized over time, Terry, is that it's not the people's fault,
Mm,
right?
well
It's
said.
it's not the people's fault. If we are constantly giving and we don't set boundaries around that,
Yes.
if we don't set the boundaries, then everybody's going to walk across the line. Why wouldn't you?
Mm, yeah. Fair.
Why
Mm,
wouldn't you? And I really do think that it's about looking at what is important to us. Like for everyone listening, what's important to you as a human?
right.
And
Right.
and then you put a boundary and you draw a line in the sand, because if you don't draw a line in the sand around what you are giving,
Yep.
people are going to constantly be walking all over your garden and trampling your roses.
Yeah. Truth.
Mm,
Really, really true. And I think we all get to this place too,
mm,
when you're in some kind of a service industry, when you're really helping people, when you have this compassion and empathy, I think we all kind of get like this, right? And I think it's a good, like when we get in this place of being a hot mess, like we've talked about, it's just a good check for us too. Like
mm,
where do we need to bring in those boundaries, like you're talking about, in our personal and professional lives?
mm.
So
And
good.
I think from your you did a piece on connection.
Mm.
You know, I saw your beautiful, beautiful piece that you did on connection. And I think probably since COVID, we've all dived into the electronic space,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we haven't actually connected with humans face to face. Like, it's really easy to get sucked into that world. And that's what I found happened for me,
Yeah.
is that I didn't catch up with any of my friends. You know, they
Mm.
all still love me, thankfully,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen them in 6 months. And I met a girlfriend the other day because I haven't been on social media, and it just filled my cup.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is
You know,
awesome. Yeah.
like, it filled my cup to actually have that. And because social connection is just such one of our biggest needs, I think what's happening is that people are feeling lonely. We're diving into an electronic space, and we aren't connecting with people in our own
Mm.
community,
Yeah. Amen.
you
100%.
know? And a lot of the people, especially for us as coaches, the people that are commenting, we don't really know them.
Right. Right.
You know, it's not your sister, it's not your girlfriend that, you know, you've known for 10 years who knows all your warts.
Right.
You know, like, because we jump on there as entrepreneurs, we jump on there, we're always pretty much showing our best self.
Right.
And so when we don't feel like our best self, what do? We're a hot mess behind closed doors.
We are. Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I'm resonating with this so much because I drove close, a couple hours away to some friends we saw, and a whole group of us that were together. I think I did a post about this. These friends that we've known for over 30 years, and so I can just show up. I mean, they know me. I said, you guys know me better than my sisters know me. Like, I mean, they have seen me at my very best. They've seen me at my very worst. They have been there through some really hard times. All of us. Some of us have divorced. Some of us have just struggled with our faith. Some of us gone through really hard financial times. Some of us have had our own breakdowns. And we've all raised our kids together. And so same thing, like I came back and I was like, oh, my heart is so full just to
Yeah.
have that human connection. Same. I had the similar experience. And I so get this and we so need it. And just as a side note, it was really interesting as you're talking about this electronic, world that we're all in. I did a post yesterday that I love doing the videos. I don't like going live because I'm talking to something. I know people are out there. It feels different than a Zoom. When I'm doing Zoom, like even you and I, this feels like a human connection.
Yes, I agree. I
And like
agree.
I see your face, you're just smiling as I'm talking about it. And I said, I can do this. Like I love showing up and doing Zoom because I can see people, I can talk to them, I feel like we're really connecting. And that feels okay, even though we're in this electronic world. If we do Zoom, that feels like a human connection to me. So do
Yeah.
you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I totally agree. And I think that that's part of pruning the roses, is really
Mhm.
looking at where you get your cup full,
Yeah,
where you get your connection.
right. And I know we've talked, like you have really grown your Facebook group, and there's some amazing people in there. You've been able to really just nurture and really help people, and I'm now kind of leaning more towards that, where you can get in and really work with people, and you can go with your Zoom, right? And now you'll be
Mm.
offering your monthly brain glow. I get this wrong every single
Brand
time.
Gardeners Global.
I know.
Yeah, I just call it the BGG.
There you go. Your BGG
That's
group. And
easy. Yeah.
where you're going to be going live and doing a Zoom and having regular, consistent meetings in Zoom where you can actually talk to people, right?
Mm.
Versus just going live.
Mm. As I spoke to a client yesterday who she's in her early 50s and she's going crazy, right? And she's a corporate businesswoman. And she said, I shouldn't be feeling like this. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I shouldn't be feeling like this. And I said to her, okay, so what we do is we always present our best selves, and we don't connect in the moments where we are a hot mess,
Mm,
right? I said, so you feel like you're on your own with it. And this is what I really wanted to do with my Facebook group and with the BGG Mastermind, is create these containers where people actually feel safe
Yeah.
to be a hot mess.
Right.
And it's not
Yeah.
necessarily, rubbing the violin. Like we can be a hot mess and show up and have the ability to go, okay, what's the next step? But
Right.
it's the light and shade is part of all of us.
Say that again. It's the
The
what?
light and shade is a part of all of us.
Meaning we're both. We're light and dark.
Yeah, we're both. We are light and
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
And on a spiritual level, if we're talking God and Satan, because my
Yeah.
little girl said the other day, uh, Dad, because my husband's not religious at all, Dad, do you believe in the devil? And he sort of, mumbled under his breath. And I said to my daughter, I think that the God and the devil is inside all of our heads,
Mm. Yeah.
the
Agreed.
light and the dark.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh,
Agreed.
do you believe in hell, Dad?" And
Mm.
he mumbled, no comment. And I said, "I think that hell is inside our head often."
Mm. Oh, I agree. Very much.
Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent, Terry.
No, no, no. It's so good. I love it. I welcome it. It's so good, but it's true. For years I've said, I've got the good girl and what did we talk about? We talked about that before. The good girl and what's the other one? Did we talk about this?
Disobedient, the
Yeah,
rebel,
the
the
rebel,
good child and the bad child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got both of them. And it kind of feels
Yeah.
like that for me too. We definitely have both.
Mm,
And to pretend or deny or, you know, not think we don't. I think I am so with you on that. I think we have both very much.
yeah.
And I think
And
that's
I
the
think,
struggle. That's the struggle
yeah,
within us.
yeah. And I think what the lack of authentic and real connection does is that we feel like when we're going through the hot mess, when we feel like the bad child, when the darkness is there, that we actually can't connect with other people.
Mm,
We can't show up like that.
right.
Nobody will like me if I'm not happy every day. Like
Right.
with social media, you see all the coaches and they're all, like, it's so funny. It's like psychology 101, you know, just get up and have a great
Mm.
day. And, what if life is just crap that day?
Yeah. Yeah. Which it is some days for all
You
of
know?
us, right? It's going
Yeah.
to be crappy for some days. That's
And
just the way it is.
that was part of my meltdown is that I realized that I had got caught in that.
Mm,
I had got caught in that pretending that, eating healthy is easy. It's not easy.
mm,
I'd rather be eating chips.
mm. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And so much of what is on social media, whether it's making money, these false plastic connections are talking as though this journey is easy.
Right. I would
And
agree
so
with you
when
very
when it's
much.
not easy, and you're a hot mess, you feel, especially if you're following someone, if you're following a guru, you might look at that woman that's on there with a six pack who's in her 40s and think, oh, I'm not that. There's nothing
Right.
good about me. I'm a failure because I can't stick to my keto diet or my vegan diet or whatever.
Right. And I would agree with you 100%. That's been my biggest struggle is that people do not tell the real story of how long it took them to get from point A to point B, to even make
Mm.
traction, to be honest. Like it's
Mm.
taken me, I mean, I've been at this now 4 or 5 years, 4 years.
Wow.
From
Mm.
the first day when I decided I was going to do this, like that wasn't when I was really really growing. But 2021 was the first year where I even took a course and said, oh, I
Wow.
want to do this. So I think that that is definitely a very diluted message. People just kind of skip over that. It's hard
Mm.
work. And most businesses fail within the first year. It
Mm.
it takes a long time. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of tenacity. It takes a lot of skin knees, A, from falling down, and B, just being on your knees praying to God, like, am I really doing the right thing? Is this right? Is this right? Through our hot mess, through our tears, through every other day feeling like you want to quit. Like, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about that. Like, that's right, Katie? And I think the part inside of us that keeps us going, that's where, like for me, that's where the growth is. That's where my drive and my tenacity and my grit, and that's the part of me that wants to keep going. But to say that I don't ever want to quit, you kidding me? Like, and you forgot the part you
Mm.
forgot to mention is the part you're also writing a book. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was thinking about when I was, I tell everybody, you want to find out who you're made of? Go write a book. That brings you
Mm.
to your knees faster than anything. All those self
Mm.
doubts, all those limiting beliefs, you get close to the finish line, all that crap really rises up in a very big way and
Mm.
challenges you. And I guarantee you, I know you're close to where you are with your book. Oh, this is almost going to make me cry because this is the truth. And good things are going to happen with you from your book. You guys, I can't wait for Katie's book to come out, but when it does, it's awesome. But that's also part of the hot mess. I was a
Mm.
complete hot mess before I released my book. Complete.
Mm.
Like I wanted to just quit completely.
Mm. Mm.
And I
Mm.
think that's on a spiritual level too. I think we get so challenged when we're putting something good out into the world. We do. We get
Mm.
challenged in a big way. And people don't talk about that either.
Mm. Maybe that's what all the, maybe we could start including that as a bonus with our courses and clients as a pair of knee pads.
I love it. So good. Because you need
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some Terry Mullen knee pads.
There you go. And maybe some band-aids because,
Yeah,
you're going to get bruised up
yeah.
and skinned up along the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
so good. But that's
Mm.
the truth. That's the truth of it. And I think that's why the communities are so important. Like when you build these communities, because I think people just need support along the way. And if you don't have it, you know, you may not pursue your dream. You may not pursue that goal. You may quit writing that book. You may stop coaching because you feel like, okay, I'm not doing it right. Look at everybody else there. Look at how easy it
Mm.
was for them. Oh no, it's not easy. It's a
Mm.
lot of hard damn work.
Mm. Because I think, and I say this to my children all the time, we all have gifts.
Mm,
We all have gifts,
right,
but that doesn't mean that there's no work attached.
right,
You know,
right.
there's often more work attached because in order to pursue your gift, you need to dig deep. And
Yes.
this was coming back to the pruning the roses. This is another analogy, Terry, that I consistently use is digging holes in dry sand. If you've ever tried to make a sandcastle, right, you know that you need to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig in order to get the wet sand to build your sandcastle,
Right,
right? If you try and
right.
build your sandcastle with dry sand, it consistently falls apart. But what I realized and has been really powerful coming off social media for this period of time is that what I do as a human being is I dig and I dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until I get to the wet sand. And then I add more dry sand in, so
Okay.
I add in another course, another book, another way of being, another, health kick that I might go on. So I'm consistently adding in busy work, dry
Mm,
sand. And so it's always feels like it's collapsing on itself
mm,
rather than turning around and going, okay, I'm just going to dig on this hole. This
mm.
is my gift. Like
Yeah.
for you, the podcasting, the
Mm,
speaking, the writing your
mm,
book, this is your gift, right?
mm, mm. Thank you. And encouraging others, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. But we go, okay, well, maybe this isn't enough and I need this and this and this. And it's just like dry sand.
Yeah. And eventually it collapses in and you become a hot mess.
Hard
A
mess.
hot mess. Right? Eventually it caves
Yeah.
in because you
Yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
do it all. I always pause when you're telling these metaphors and analogies. I'm always just thinking, it just takes me a minute. And then I get this visual. It's like, boom, then it drops in. But that's so true. Yeah, really powerful.
Yeah.
Really
So
powerful.
sometimes we just need to stop digging and go, okay, what am I adding in?
Yeah.
Um, a client of mine a while ago, I was trying to get her to change her nutrition, right? And she's like, well, I like the concept of crowding in, so you crowd in more vegetables, like you put more vegetables in so you don't have room for the crap, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that analogy and I thought, like when we do that in life, when we crowd in, crowd in, crowd in, we start force feeding ourselves and then the hot mess happens.
Yeah.
So we actually need to pull out and extract the distractions, extract the things that aren't working,
Yeah.
or even just stop for a
Yeah.
period of time and take an audit, a life audit
Yeah.
to go, actually, I've been doing this habit and it's not serving me, it's not helpful,
Yeah.
right? So that becomes the project. How do I stop that?
Yeah. And giving ourselves permission to actually stop, just like with
Yeah.
what you did, to really give ourselves permission. And a couple thoughts as you're talking, like one, there's someone that I followed, had a very similar experience to you, grew her Instagram account exponentially, but the return on her investment, the same thing, had young kids just like you, the return on the investment wasn't there. And so she completely pulled off. And she doesn't even, I mean, she does
Mm.
social media only in her Facebook groups, but she does not post anything on her own personal platform. But she's huge she's a podcaster and someone I just respect. So anyway, but it made me think about, as you're talking about this, I think we just have to give ourselves permission to stop. We just keep
Mm.
going. We get on this treadmill and think that we have to keep doing when we're suffocating, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We get caught on the rat wheel.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I had another client this week, and her mum is dying. Her mum is very, very unwell, but she's got her own business. She's an entrepreneur. She was doing, another course to try and grow her business. There were all these things happening. Her partner's sick, and she's feeling really burnt out.
mm,
And I said to her, okay, well, where are you now?
yeah,
Because I think that, again, it's stepping back. And another question I've asked myself is, what age and stage of my life am I actually in at the moment? You know,
yes,
like for us and for new entrepreneurs that are running everything themselves, you're it, right? You're the glue.
yeah,
As women, we're the glue for our families.
correct, yeah,
So what age and stage are we actually in, and how much time can we allocate to each area?
exactly.
And I think it's important to get that clarity.
100%. And I'm thinking of you as you're talking. I'm looking back on my life. I could never have done this when my kids were young. We had four.
Mm.
My first three were really close in age, and then we waited several years and had our youngest one. And I was such a mom. I was so all in, and I'm grateful because we have four amazing kids. But that was my priority, and I know that's your priority too, right? And that's what we were
Mm.
talking about. We all have to find this balance between what's left of us to give. We all
Mm.
only have so many hours a day. We only have so much energy, and what are our priorities in life, And it's okay, whatever those are for you, you've got to
Mm.
honor those and nurture those. Your priority is your marriage and your children, right? I mean, you want to make a
Yeah.
difference in the world, but it's what's left over from that,
Mm.
right?
Because I always think I used to milk cows, Terry.
Yep.
This was yeah, years ago, and they've got, for those people that don't really know farming, they've got like a machine that the cows walk onto, and you put on cups to
Yeah.
get. That was part of my job. It was disgusting. I used to get covered in crap, and it was freezing cold. But you put, as it's moving on the wheel, you have to put the cups on the cows.
Uh-huh.
And I always use this analogy that I'm a bull in the milking shed, is that, like the cows are all quite happy when they walk on and the cups are on. And whenever I get into the hot mess stage, I think I'm a bull that's walked on to the milking shed and the cup's gone on. Feels good for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You just want to get off.
Yeah.
And I think
Uh,
for all of us, that we put all of these things into our lives and they feel good. We get that initial dopamine hit, like from
yep.
social media.
Yep.
We get that little dopamine hit, and then all of a sudden we're stuck on the rat wheel.
Yeah. 100%. And we don't know how to get off, and we keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gained this momentum and it keeps going, and we're going faster and faster and faster, and we don't know how to stop it. How
Mm,
about just stop it?
yeah,
How about just
yeah.
jump
Just stop
off?
it. Just stop it.
Yeah, and jump
And
off.
know and have trust. And this is what I had to do, because I had this moment of panic. I thought, okay, well, if I take a month off social media, which is what I agreed to with my husband, am I going to lose followers? Am I going to lose people in my group?
Right,
And I thought, does it actually matter? And
right,
as I said to you before, the call, is anybody going to die? Is my family going to be affected? Well, no, actually, my family is going to benefit because I'm going to be more present with them.
right. This is going to be so much fun when we have another podcast and you come back and, people are going to miss you because you're amazing. You're amazing on social media. So people are going to miss you. And I think people are just going to be waiting for you to return. And it's going to be that'll be another fun podcast just to see, because I know from other people that have done this, and I think I sent you something earlier in the week about somebody else, like who's taking a social media break for the summer. I see a lot of people that I follow and really respect. They all take these breaks and it doesn't hurt them. So anybody out there listening, if you're on the rat wheel, take a break, jump off the rat wheel, jump off that, get off, get away from the algorithm for a while, rest your brain, rest your body, rest your spirit, connect with human beings on the other side of a screen, or, how about in person? Wrap your arms around somebody, give somebody a hug, if anything, it'll benefit us from being away and setting those boundaries, because I think we end up being better people because we have more clarity. We're in more of an alignment. Our mind, body, and spirit are more aligned, and we've had that time to rest. For me, I was thinking about this. I did a post the other day just about sitting out. Every morning now I sit on my patio. Not every morning, let me clarify. Most mornings. Before I do anything, I grab my cup of coffee, I go sit on my patio and just wait for the sun to rise. And I just sit in silence, have my coffee, I take my journal, I take my little dog, and I just sit there and wait for the sun to rise and the birds to chirp. And I sit as long as I need. Some days it's fast, some days I sit longer. And I just know in my spirit now when. But gosh, if I don't do that, my day is completely wonky. Like I need to fill my cup up. I need not to be on social media first thing in the morning. I need to fill my own spirit. And now, because there was a time where those creative thoughts were not flowing in because it was so much on social media, just like you and I are talking. And I wasn't giving my soul time to be recharged and to be connected to God, to spirit, to other people. You know what I mean? So anyway.
I did an exercise with a client yesterday, which would be really beneficial for people listening. So if you think of like an onion, and you have a small circle in the middle, and then the layers go out. And what I was doing with her was basically looking at her relationships, but you can do this for all parts of your life. Right. And you might do like what you're talking about, like a fill your cup exercise, where in the center of the circle, you put the things that really fill your cup. And then you identify as the onion builds out the things that fill your cup less and less and less.
Oh, wow. That's a great exercise.
Yeah. So when I was taught it was when I was in therapy, and it was for relationships. So looking at who were the core people I trusted, and then moving out and out on the onion to go, okay, who are the people that, really don't serve me, that I need to get out, So it gives you a lot of clarity. But knowing that what is in the center for you, the center of your onion, well, if those are the things that fill your cup, those are the things that you do need to do every day. And then the things that are on the outside of the onion, well, can you actually let those behaviors go?
Oh, so good. Really good. That's a great exercise. I'm actually going to do that in one of my journaling exercises. That's really powerful. Like, what do I need every day? I know for sure that I need to sit on my patio every morning. I just have to do that. I have to be connected to nature. That's something else I know about myself. And that also means I need to go for a walk every day. Sometimes more than one. I need to be moving. I need to be outside. I need to see the trees. I need to see the mountains. I need to feel the sun on my face. And so those are two things for sure that I have to do every day. And I need to connect with my kids and my family, whether that's on a text or a call. I need to be connected. It almost makes me cry when I'm talking about that. In some way, every day, I need to be connected to my children. So,
because last week when I was a hot mess, I know we're going on for a while, Terri, but I've been off my ADHD medication for about 1.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I worked so hard with the Dr. Amen protocols, really, 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 really hard to come off my ADHD medication. And last week I had some in the cupboard and I went back on it because I actually felt like I was going crazy in the hot mess. I couldn't focus. I couldn't concentrate. my brain just wasn't on. So I went back on my medication.
Yeah.
And what it does for me, my heart shuts down.
Your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
my brain, I can,
I know you've got to go soon, but can you dive into that a little bit? Because
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
fascinating to me.
Yeah. So what happens, and this is just for me, this is my own experience with the methylphenidate, is that my brain switches on immediately. Like I know 100% I have ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm on the medication, I can do more. I can do a lot more. I can see that my house is a mess. I can get some clarity around where the hot mess is, but my heart shuts down. And I thought, okay, this is why I came off the medication in the first place, because I actually didn't feel empathy. I didn't feel connected with humans. This is why I did the
Mm.
work in the first place. And I'm coming back to talking about the center of that onion, right?
Yeah.
So on Thursday last week, I coached my son's soccer team, and we had a really heavy game of soccer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where we were sprinting, I was running, I was puffing. And afterwards, I felt amazing. I felt alive.
Yeah.
And when I went home to my husband and I said, okay, that is what I need every day. And I haven't been doing for the past 3 months is heavy, intense exercise.
Mm.
And so I threw the remainder of the medication in the bin and I'm like, okay, this is my work. This is what I have to do. I know that it works for my brain because
Mm.
I want my heart to be here too.
Oh, wow, Katie. That's so
Yeah.
powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
So you were off it for a year and a half. You went back on because of the panic and kind of everything you were experiencing in this middle of this hot mess. And then you did all that exercise because I know you and I've talked about this. I've said the same thing. Like I've got to get back and
Mm,
really doing heavy exercise. That really helps me too. And so
mm.
now when you had that experience, so now you've thrown the medication away again.
Yeah. I threw it
Wow.
away and for the last 3 days, I've been up super
Yep.
early and like when you were sitting on your porch,
Yeah.
I'm doing sprints and weights.
Wow.
That brings me back into my body,
Mm.
even though I felt like a rusty cog. In the morning I
Yeah.
wake up and I'm tired. I wanted to stay in bed this morning. I'm like, no, you need to do the work.
Mm.
I
So
I
good.
need to do the work because otherwise I will have to go back onto medication again.
Yeah. Wow,
It's
that's
it's
so
really
powerful.
simple. And another client texted me and he's like, oh, I can't get hold of my medication or the medication's doing this and that. I mean, this is an entirely other podcast, but
Yeah.
I said to him, because he's very, very clever on nutrition and exercise and connection, he's very
Mm.
wise. And I said, you need to do the work, my friend.
Yeah.
You actually need to do the work on the things that not me telling you, make you feel better. You just need to do the work and get some discipline, whether you feel like it or not.
Yeah. Wow, that's so good, Katie. I'm just completely engaged. Like it's really fabulous.
Yeah.
You know,
And
we do.
that's where the hot mess can teach us
Right.
is going, okay, well, what's important to me? What's helped in the past? What do I need? And then you go do it, whether you feel like it or not.
So good. Because that's my question as we close. That was going to be my question. So what do you feel like the hot mess has taught you? Like this past couple weeks, like, and maybe you just said it.
Mm,
And
mm,
what do you do in the midst of, first of you honor it, right? You realize
mm,
it's there. Give yourself permission to stop whatever is sucking you dry and hop off, whatever that, like for us, talking about hop off the social media wheel. Give yourself
mm,
permission to just step back and figure out what it is that you need to do to go do the work, to set
mm,
boundaries, to be a healthy human,
mm.
to be
Because
in
I
touch
always
with your
think of,
mind, body, and spirit. Sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, I'm sorry for
No, no,
interrupting.
go ahead. No, no.
I always think of when you go hiking, we were always taught when I did the Duke of Edinburgh Award that when you get lost in the bush or when you get lost when you're hiking, you stay put or you
Mm,
search for higher ground so you
mm,
can be found, you know? And I think if we use that analogy, and I think that's what I did last week and what I will continue to do is just completely stop, stop and search for higher ground, which I believe is that connection with God, right?
Yep.
Search for higher ground.
Yeah.
And you wait to get some clarity and really spend some time thinking of what's important.
Really good.
Yeah, life's always going to be busy.
Right. But I think a really powerful takeaway for everyone is doing that onion exercise. Like, what is important to you? What do you need to do every day? Like, what fills your cup? And then go out from there. I think that kind of gives you perspective right there to do that. I think that's such a powerful takeaway, Katie. I love that. Yeah. So thank you. This is so good. I can't wait to listen back to this. So thank you. I'm glad we've both been a hot mess. We've learned some good things this week.
Hot mess.
Hot mess. There's always such good things that come from it. And hopefully all of you listening in have a few key takeaways to implement in your life. Just honor who you are and don't put pressure on yourself. Just learn from us. I think being the best you can be with where you are, with what you have, and take it one step at a time. And don't be distracted by things and other people, because often it's not even reality. So any ending words of wisdom, Katie Jolly?
You've zipped it up, Terri. You're amazing.
Oh, so are you. All right, we're going to close on this wonderful, fabulous Friday. God bless. Everybody have an amazing day. Remember that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong. We both send our love. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening in and for being here. I hope you have a few key takeaways that you can apply to your life, something that will help you step forward, to be audacious, to be bold and brave, and step forward with those goals that you have. And if you need a little help, I'm here to help you. We can devise a plan that can help you move forward and be confident on camera or behind a microphone and grow your business by being authentically you. I'd love it if you could just take a few moments and leave a review. It's how I know that people are listening in and it's helping someone out there. So at the end of this podcast, just click those 5 stars and leave a review. All right, have an amazing day. God bless. Until we meet again.